Hello students, this is the fifth video of first module and first chapter. So in this video I am going to explain you about the primary memory, secondary memory and ports and connections. So first let us start with the primary memory. So in each and every computer system there will be a memory unit where actually we are going to store the data and instructions whichever are required for processing. So here in computer system, so the memory unit, it is going to be divided into two parts, that is primary memory and the secondary memory. So primary memory, again it consists of the memory unit where we can store different types of data. So for example, here we have in our computer memory, in this diagram you can see primary memory and secondary memory. So primary memory, it is divided into again two parts, that is RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory, where actually we can fetch the data very fast, and it is a volatile memory. Volatile memory means whenever the power will be switched off, the data will be lost. So it is a temporary storage. So we can tell that RAM is a temporary storage. ROM, whereas ROM is read-only memory, and here what happens is it is non-volatile. When the power switch off or on, then the particular memory, whatever is stored in the particular data which is stored in that ROM, it will be there within the ROM, and whenever we are fixing it, for example OS, operating system, it will be stored in ROM. So whenever we are switching on the system, it has to be booted into the memory unit, and from there from the memory unit it will be booted into the operating CPU or the processor. So here we have two types of primary memory, one is RAM and the other one is ROM. So RAM, again it can be divided into static random access memory and dynamic random access memory, and ROM, it is it can be divided into again different types like programmable read-only memory, erasable programmable read-only memory, then electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. And along with this RAM and ROM, our processor, it consists of a small unit of memory called as cache. So it will be present within the processor. So here in cache, it is a smallest memory unit, and it is very costly because it is stored within the processor. Only the frequently used data or the instructions will be stored in that cache. So why it will be stored in cache means in order to reduce the time taken to execute that instructions by fetching them from the main memory unit. Okay, so that's what, in order to reduce the time and in order to increase the performance of a computer system, so we are implementing cache memory within the processor. So as of now, primary memory, it consists of cache, RAM and ROM. Whereas the secondary memory, it will be consisting of flash drives, USB, CDs, DVDs, where the capacity of storage is more, and the size will be more, and the cost will be less when it is compared with the primary memory. And we cannot access directly the secondary memory stored data. So whatever will be stored in the secondary memory, like for example in DVDs and CDs, if it is stored, then if you want to access the data which is present in it, first we need to store it in the random access memory. It has to be fetched into the random access memory, and from there we can access the data. Without storing it in RAM, without loading it in RAM, accessing that particular data is impossible. Okay, so this is about the primary and the secondary memory. And secondary memory storage will be more, it will be in terms of terabytes, whereas our primary memories, ROM, it will be around GBs, and RAM will be around MBs. So these are the different types of secondary memory storage devices which can be seen here: flash drives, floppy disk, zip disk, CD plus, that is read-writable CDs, read-writable DVDs, only readable CDs and readable DVDs, storage tape, smart media, removable hard drive, micro drive, memory stick, smart cards, online storage site and PC cards. So these are some of the examples of secondary memory. So here you can see the difference between the primary storage and the secondary storage. So first coming to the primary storage, main memory or the internal memory is made up of this primary storage. So auxiliary memory or external memory or the secondary memory is nothing but the secondary storage. So the types of primary storage are RAM, ROM, cache, PROM, EPROM. So all this comes under the primary storage, whereas secondary storage, HDD, CD, DVD, floppy disk and flash drives comes under the secondary storage. So here in primary storage, what happens is it temporarily stores the data. Whenever there will be power off, the data will be erased. Whereas in secondary storage, permanently stores the data. So whatever data will be there, it will be permanently stored. And the primary storage, it is volatile memory. Secondary storage is non-volatile memory. So volatile means, again, when the power switches happens, then the data will be removed from that particular memory, whereas in non-volatile memory it will be always present in the CDs, DVDs and the secondary storage devices. CPU can directly access the data whichever is present in the primary storage, whereas in secondary storage the CPU has to load it first into the RAM, then only it can be accessed. Power cuts cause the data loss in primary storage, whereas power cuts doesn't cause the data loss in the secondary storage. That is what meant as permanent storage and temporary storage. Limited storage capacity in primary storage, whereas the storage capacity will be huge in secondary storage. Faster data access in primary storage, slower data access in the secondary storage. So these are the main differences between the primary storage and the secondary storage devices. Next, moving on to the ports and connections. So here whatever peripheral devices like mouse, keyboards, monitors, display units, printers, speakers, flash drives, so everything has to be connected to the CPU, and this connection will be made with the help of the ports, which are used in order to connect with the cable. So the cable will be used in order to make the connection between the peripheral devices and the CPU in order to make them to work together. So here the ports come in two different categories, that is the parallel port and the serial port. So we need to know what exactly is the parallel port, what exactly is the serial port. So for example, if you want to transfer the data one bit at a time, so we all know that the memory unit, it consists of the data which is stored in terms of bits. Bit is nothing but the smallest storage unit of the memory unit. The storage value of the memory unit, it contains only the values zeros and ones. So here this connection port, what it does means, it serial port, it transfers the data one bit at a time, whereas a parallel port means we can make the transfer of data 8 bits at a time or 16 bits depending upon the capacity of the CPU. So like parallelly, more number of bits can be transferred in parallel port, whereas only single bit of data can be transferred using the serial port. So where and all we use the serial port, where and all we use a parallel port. So parallel port connections are mainly used in the network connections where the systems are very far from each other and you require a large amount of data transfer. And serial port connections are made where exactly the peripheral devices are nearby to the our CPU, and only like a small cable is required to make the connection between them. So there we have the serial port connections. And here in this diagram you can see different types of ports here, serial ports and parallel ports, both are there. For example, to connect the video devices or audio devices, so everything will be having the ports. There will be some switches and connections, and through which we are making the connections, and we are using that device which is connected to that CPU or to any other devices. So here the main thing what we have to know is there are two different types of ports used, serial port and parallel port, in order to make the connections between the different peripheral devices. If you want to connect it to the network, Ethernet connections or some LAN connections, modem connections, firewall connections, so everything will be made with the ports only. So there will be a port, we have to insert that cable along with the other device which you want to connect. So like this the connection will be made between the computer system and the peripheral devices. Thank you.